Our Free and Equal segment tonight, a high school student was forced to remove all religious references from her graduation speech, and now she's suing the school district because of that. Mariah Bridges was told her remarks could not be religious and that she most certainly may not recite a prayer that excludes other religions. Watch.
I was told that I can't give a prayer tonight, but I have a few closing sentiments for the class of 2017. Today, the true end of our education here at Beaver. Let's remember to be thankful for our immeasurable blessings, to have been born in a country where we're granted a quality education as if it were a right.
Joining me now is lead attorney on the case from First Liberty, Jeremy Dice. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, this is quite the story. I mean, this girl, she's a high school senior. Her name's Mariah Bridges, as you know. These are her graduation remarks, and the school claims that if she didn't alter the remarks that she had previously prepared, she would have been breaking the law. My question to you as a lawyer is how?
Well, she would not have been breaking the law. In fact, the Supreme Court has observed, and it's still true today, that students do not shed their constitutional rights when they walk through the schoolhouse gates. And that protection of the First Amendment carries through all the way through to the graduation ceremony here as well. When a student is chosen through neutral criteria, which Mariah was, and given primary control over the remarks, which Mariah had, then the school cannot tell her to remove religious references without violating the Constitution.
Right. So tell me exactly, if you know, which I assume you do, what did they censor? What was she planning to say?
Well, she had chosen to form her remarks in something of the form of a prayer, just to be able to express her best wishes for her colleagues, her classmates, through her Christian identity. And the school district, as you read, didn't like that very much and told her to remove all references to religion effectively. And so the superintendent in this district said that certainly we would like you to provide inspirational comments or words of hope, but those words of hope and inspiration could not be religious in nature. Unfortunately, that violates the law.
Right, it does. I mean, what if her religion, or what if her inspiration and hope comes from her religious beliefs, which clearly it seems that they do. This is a public school, though, right?
It is a public school, and thankfully, the United States Department of Education has provided guidance on this very topic. And as I said a moment ago, so long as the student controls primary control over the remarks and has been selected through neutral criteria, it's private speech under the First Amendment, which is fully protected. That's why I would really encourage students across the country to go to firstliberty.org and look up our Know Your Rights toolkit so you know exactly what you can and cannot do regarding your religious expression while on campus.
Right, and particularly because it's a public school, she actually has more rights there because it's taxpayer funded, because it is an entity of our government. This isn't a private school where you would have signed something that you agree or disagree to follow their stated principles or religious beliefs. This is a public school. Her First Amendment reigns supreme here, and it seems that it's violated. Jeremy, did Mariah ever encounter any liberal political opinions from teachers while she was at that school?
You know, I don't know, but I do know that the superintendent released a statement yesterday saying effectively what she had said in the letter in the first place, that they control the speech and all that. But that's not true. And either the superintendent has not read the guidelines issued by the United States Department of Education, or she's simply choosing to ignore them. But they clearly state that Mariah was entitled to be able to provide these religious remarks, private remarks that happen to reference her religious faith while at school. All we would like is an opportunity to sit down with the superintendent and the Board of Education and discuss ways that we can protect student religious expression in the future so this sort of thing doesn't happen ever again.
And is the superintendent willing to sit down with Mariah, sit down with her legal team, you yourself, perhaps Mariah's parents? Is she willing to do that?
Well, certainly Mariah and I and First Liberty Institute are more than happy to do so. And to this date, we've not heard word back to whether or not the superintendent or Beaver Area School District would want to do that. I hope they will. Right,
I hope they will too. The reason that I brought up the political aspect, asked if Mariah had ever heard a teacher stating any liberal beliefs, is because that could be argued that it was also an articulation of their religious beliefs. And I'd like to see, at least if the school district holds an equal standard for both liberals and conservatives, Christians, or those who don't want Christian values articulated from a graduation stage here. Jeremy, you're suing them right now. There's a lawsuit. Is it just a strictly First Amendment lawsuit?
We haven't filed a lawsuit yet, and I don't think one may be necessary. We've just simply sent them a letter saying, look, here's what the law actually is. Here's what the United States Department of Education has said about this very issue. And then let's sit down and talk about a way that we can protect religious expression of students in the public schools, and particularly in Beaver Area School District, in the future. This sort of thing doesn't need to happen. Students retain their constitutional rights when they go to school, and certainly that includes all the way through the graduation ceremony.
Right, and I guess my last question here, and hopefully it won't get to litigation. Hopefully they'll see the precedent here and know that they're going to lose and not waste the money fighting our Constitution. But what is their defense? They told Mariah that she couldn't exclude other religions, but a Christian prayer or Christian intentions certainly don't exclude anybody. What defense are they giving?
Well, I think you saw it in the letter that the superintendent sent here, that this was somehow the speech of the school and owned by the government there in Pennsylvania. But that's the farthest thing from the truth. The reality is she was asked by the student body president to provide closing remarks. She authored those closing remarks, and once the school found out about them, they required her to remove any religious reference. For a school district and the state behind her to say that a student has to express a very certain viewpoint, one that is sanitized from all religion, that is the very essence of what we call viewpoint discrimination. It's wrong, and more than that, it's illegal under the federal Constitution.
Yep, you're 100% right. It is illegal. It's our First Amendment right. That's why we have protections of speech and of religious practice, because there are people who want to shut us down. Jeremy, best of luck with this. Please keep us updated as you either talk to the superintendent or make it to court. We want to stay up to date on what's happening with this. Thanks for being here.